It's been fantastic. Geo Gonzo, you've been brilliant. Good luck with your podcast. Hope it goes from strength to strength. It's fantastic. Good job. Hammers chat all the way, baby. It's been fantastic. Geo Gonzo, you've been...
We are live, Gonzo. I've got a normal looking Gonzo right now. It might turn to a stripy Gonzo or stretch Gonzo, but hopefully we'll have a normal Gonzo during the duration of the show. Right, don't play around and mess me up, okay? Nah, you could just not give us a... Anyway, how are you tonight?
Very well, very well. I have got my cushions that I sit on to lift me up into prime broadcast position. They're a bit lumpy, Geo, so I'm wondering if this goes on for longer than an hour, I might get piles.
Interesting.
What about yourself? How are you?
Not too bad, actually. Transfer deadline day tomorrow. I'm enjoying all the transfer we're talking, not just West Ham, all the other stuff. Spurs, Man United, Arsenal have leaped into action. The David Luiz wanting to go to Chelsea thing. I enjoy all this. I like it. It helps that you're able to be quite relaxed as a fan. I think knowing that your team's done business and it's done. I used to think it's going to be boring. And as a West Ham fan, you want a bit of excitement, don't you? And we've got a little bit of excitement for tomorrow. But you think, it's almost like a kid at Christmas, and you know what you're getting from Santa, isn't it? The surprise is ruined a bit. But I'm actually finding myself a bit more enjoying the other club stuff at the minute. But I think it's because none of them are succeeding. Zaha wants out, but Palace ain't playing ball. Everton are bidding 40 million for a Iwobi. Arsenal trying to get down with Luiz, who's kicking up a fuss at Chelsea. I'm enjoying all this. I like it.
Did you say someone was bidding for a Iwobi?
Yeah, Everton bid 40 million for a Iwobi.
Blimey.
Apparently.
Hold that thought, though. Because we're going to discuss this tomorrow, are we not?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to do we're planning on doing a transfer deadline day show over on the forum channel. We used to do it on this channel, but there's nothing to talk about now. It was alright when we were signing Jordan Hugo on deadline day, but now it's done. We've got one more guy coming tomorrow. Maybe a late surprise, which we'll discuss. But there's nothing really juicy enough, so we're going to go live on the forum channel and discuss other teams' business. We're going to have a laugh at whoever's doing poor, and we're going to discuss Harry Maguire. We're going to discuss any other transfers that happens. Anyway,
I'm going to wear some yellow pants.
You can do that. I don't know what. I'll wear yellow socks, not a yellow tie like the thumbnail. The thumbnail's deceiving.
Yes.
Young Tom had a little bit of fun with that, but it's all a bit of fun. Who would you like to start with discussing tonight? Is there anyone you would like to start with? We've got, I think, two players linked to us, and we've got about 4 players leaving us. So where would you like to take your start?
Shall we go with Cullen?
We can do. Let's start with Josh Cullen. To start with the rumour, Josh Cullen, rumour, it's done. It was a rumour when I wrote out my notes earlier, but Josh Cullen has joined Charlton Athletic on loan for the remainder of for the whole season. However, West Ham do have a clause in it that come January, in the first 2 weeks of January only, so between the 1st and the 15th of January, we can recall him. Now, he only has 1 year left on his contract, so what do you make of this one? Because Cullen has always been sitting there, so we're not really discussed him in depth since he started playing friendlies.
Well, it's multi-layered, this one. There's the suspicion that the business ain't great from our point of view, because we'd better recall him, otherwise he's just going out on loan, he's going to leave on a free. Whilst I don't think he's going to go for Kylian Mbappe money, I do think there's a player there worth 2 or 3 million quid. So, at least. So, it would have been nice to try and sort of monetize him in some way. So, a bit like a cattle market, really. But for him, he wasn't really going to feature. So I do understand him going to Charlton, where he was last season. Lee Bowyer rates him highly. I like the recall option because I think it's sensible in case we get into trouble. However, I thought that maybe he would be used as the cover for Obiang leaving. Okay, one goes out, but actually in terms of numbers, we're okay because Cullen was away last season, Obiang was here. So he might stay there as a sort of a safeguard, if you like, just in case Noble is injured or Wilshere is injured, God forbid. And it does make me think, is there another midfielder coming in? I know we shouldn't think such things. I know we've been told that there's only one more coming in. But I do wonder. I do wonder if there's 3 going out and 3 more coming in or something like that. It's going to be interesting.
I'm a bit disappointed I don't see the point of the loan. The only reason I can see the point of this, and I think this is where the release clause is massive, I don't think it's so we can call him back to play for West Ham United. I think we're sending him out to Charlton, hoping that another club in the Championship will say, fancy paying £1 million, £2 million for him. We'll say, that's alright, you can have him in the first 2 weeks of January, we're going to call him back and you can buy him on the 1st of January and we'll send him to you. And I think that's why we've got that recall thing in there. It's not so he can come back and feature for West Ham. In order to do that, we would have to have a terrible midfield, injury crisis in midfield, and Josh Cullen to be playing really, really well at Charlton. All those 3 things have to happen in order for him to come back in January and get first team football. Otherwise, we're just as well leaving him there. So I think that recall thing is so we can call him back and sell him if need be. He's got 1 year left to go. I don't think we'll see my West Ham United shirt again. I remember saying this to you a year ago. I was wrong. We've seen him pre-season. But even in pre-season, we didn't see him that much. There was it Hertha Berlin we played? Josh Cullen was the only player who didn't get on. And I thought, well, what's the point in that? You might as well just put him on for 10, 15 minutes. Bilbao at the weekend, Cullen and Johnson were the only 2 not to get on. And you just thought, well, that's just screamed. You might as well leave Josh to the player. I feel a bit sorry for him, but at the end of the day, he's 22 years old now, maybe even 23. He's not young. Listen, I think he'll be a Premier League player one day, but I don't think it'll be West Ham colours. I don't think it'll be Charlton either. I think he'll sign for Charlton. I think he'll do well there, and I think a promoted club or he'll join one of the top clubs in the Championship and come up with them, just like Junior Stanislas did, kind of. So I do think we'll see him in the Premier League, but it's a bit of a disappointment. Always had high hopes for Josh.
Yeah, I know you did. And he plays that nice style of football, low centre of gravity, gives and goes. For me, he never really threatens the goal enough. And I know last time you said this, yeah, he gives the ball to the guy that gets the assist and so on. But I do think if you're going to be a Premier League midfielder, unless you are a stopper like Declan Rice is, if you're going to go in there and pass a move and be busy and play any position more advanced than Declan Rice, I think you need to have a few goals in you. And I'm not sure I ever felt he was a goal threat. And I think he's neat and tidy. I think he fits into anyone's team that wants to keep the ball moving. But when you bring in players in like Fornals, when you've got players like Lanzini, like Wiltshire, he is undoubtedly a level below them. And it's not as if he is going to suddenly start playing as well as them. If he's not going to feature, I do think it's best he goes and builds his career elsewhere. I do agree. I do believe he's going to be a good professional footballer and have a good career. And good luck to him. You know, good luck to him. He's one of those players, Geo, that will leave, and the West Ham fans will wish him nothing but good thoughts. So everyone will wish him well. Didn't kick up a stink. Never moaned. I always felt he was a good lad. Got his tooth kicked out in a game, didn't he, playing for West Ham? So the very best of luck to him, mate.
I think he was. I think he deserved a bigger chance at West Ham, but I think there's a difference between being good enough for a chance and deserving a chance. You can do one and not be the other, and I think he deserved to go. But was he good enough? I guess we'll never know. I do think there was something in there. I do think there's a player in there. And Grady Diangana, this is one I'm not too happy with, actually. He's been linked with a low move. West Brom seems to be the front runners for him. Slaven Bilic is looking like he's going to come in and try and get him on loan for the season. What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I like it. I did a video earlier. I'm going to repeat myself for those that haven't seen it. I like the deal because I do think we've got our set 11. And I think that if and when Pellegrini wants to mix it up and do something different, assuming he's going to keep that formation, I think if he takes somebody off in a wide position, I think it's Antonio coming on first. If not, it's Yarmolenko coming on first. And I think being the third choice wing substitute, which is what he would be, would mean he's probably not going to feature and possibly not going to get on the bench. If you've got 7 places on the bench, one of them's a goalkeeper, so you've got 6 positions. If you are going to put 2 wingers on there, you're probably not going to, but if you do, you'll probably put Antonio on there anyway because he can play a number of positions. If Diangana's not even going to get on the bench, and he wouldn't, then I just don't see the point of him being around. I just think a good year at West Brom, a good season at West Brom. He'll play in an attacking team, which Savile like. It'll build his confidence up even more because it did get a dent. I think he's looked good in pre-season, Gio. I think he's looked one of the better players in pre-season, actually. But has he looked better than Antonio, for instance? No, I wouldn't say so. And it's just Yarmolenko's such a big signing. Maybe not a £50 million signing, but a lot of faith was put in him. You often say you've got to back the manager. Well, the manager really wanted Yarmolenko, so you're not going to find him dropping Yarmolenko from the bench. So I think it probably makes sense, and I think we'll get a better player back than the one we loaned out.
I'm going to argue with you here.
Go on.
You said you'd loan out Diangana because he won't make the bench.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
So would you line out Ben Johnson?
No, I wouldn't. But I do think there's some slightly different mitigating circumstances there. Ben Johnson can cover two positions, and one of our right backs, which his chosen position is
Diangana can cover two. You're going to count left and right as different positions. Diangana can cover two. He can cover left wing and right wing.
Yeah, I know, but we don't have anyone under. There's not anyone comparable to Ben Johnson. So there's not another person that can play on two wings just under Ben Johnson of a similar standard. They can keep Nathan Holland there to do the Diangana job of being there for absolute emergencies.
But Pellegrini on Saturday against Man City. Listen, we can talk about this because we've got Man City PE tomorrow night. We're not going to talk about who's going to be on the bench. The bench will have, in order of defenders, he will probably have, let's say Masuaku starts, he will have Creswell, Ogbonna, Zabaleta, and then you've got Ben Johnson, fourth choice, in competition with Reid and our new centre-back to make the bench. So, listen, I don't want to see Ben Johnson loaned out, sorry. I was just trying to argue your reason for loaning out Diangana.
Yeah, but I just think it only takes... Fredericks has shown his first season, he may well be injury prone. It only takes one thing to happen, either a loss of form from Zabaleta or Fredericks to get injured again, and Ben Johnson's in and he's starting. I think if Lanzini drops down, he'll do something else. He might even move Mark Noble in there. I think if Fornals breaks down, Antonio's in. I think there's a number of circumstances have to happen before Diangana, a number of stages, if you know what I mean, before Diangana gets in that first team. I think there's very few things have to happen before Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson is closer to starting in the first team. One mishap away, if you like, than Diangana is.
I agree with that. I think Ben Johnson is closer, and I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson started against City, whereas I would be surprised if Diangana did. But Diangana played a decent amount of minutes last season, and we've not added any wingers since. I know Yarmolenko's come back, but can you rely on someone who's had two big injuries in the last 2 years to be fit for the whole season? I don't think you can. So the fact that Diangana has played quite a lot of time last year and got plenty of opportunities, and he was an unused sub a lot as well. I think in pre-season he stepped up a gear. I think we saw a different Diangana to what we saw at the end of last season. Maybe a year in the Championship will toughen him up, so to speak. But actually, I think last season in the Premier League probably toughened him up more than what the next year in the Championship will.
I don't just think it's toughening him up, Gio. I've got to say, I think it's also the mental side. I think it's the confidence it gives him. It's the puffing your chest out. I think he's got the possibility of going to West Brom and being a main man, being a top guy. I think that's a hell of a thing at the moment. There's Championship players can go for big money as well, you know. And I think he goes there, he tears it up, he becomes one of the best wingers in the Championship. I just think he comes back a very, very different player. And it's slightly different from Cullen, but you get a Cullen-Burke situation if he's just going to sit around and not feature. And granted, because you are waiting for all the planets to align for him to get on, for him to stay at West Ham and become a feature in that first team. A number of things have got to happen, and I think yes, you could keep him around just in case all those things happen. Lanzini gets an injury, Yarmolenko's not available, blah blah blah, the striker gets injured, Antonio's up front, so then Noble's back in the team, and then Diangana's playing. You could keep him around just in case that happens, but I think you get more benefit by actually hedging your bets, thinking actually, you know, and put him up. I'd go for the recall on this one as well, not for the reasons that you suggested for Cullen, so as we can get him back and make a tidy profit. I think we have to recall in January, just in case it does go belly up, or in case actually he looks like the best player in the Championship. If we get to Christmas and Diangana's got 7 goals and 7 assists and is a Championship player of the month and goal of the month and all the rest of it, then there might be good reason to recall him. But I don't mind. But initially I did agree with you when I first saw the news. I thought, no, keep him. Why are we doing that? But the more I thought about it, the more sense he made. I definitely think he'd benefit by feeling like the main man, if you know what I mean.
I think there's also Diangana who can. At the minute, we have a squad of 23, not including Diangana, we're 23 players, right? The only ones we can. Now, that doesn't include the likes of Declan Rice, who's under the age of 21. It doesn't include our new centre back or Ben Johnson. But Diangana can be added to that squad. But if you go by someone from like a German international that's only played in Germany, you can't add him to the squad. Someone's got to drop out. So I do think that has an impact as well. But what I will say is I think West Brom's a good club to go to. I think Bilic is a good manager for him to go to because we know Bilic likes playing with wingers. He has a reasonable attacking philosophy. They played really well in the first weekend. They beat Nottingham Forest. They played really well then. So I think he's going there. I don't know if you've seen the videos. Have you seen the videos of the West Brom fans singing Bilic's name? They've got a different song than we had. Their way in stayed behind after at Forest. They won at Forest and their way in were singing their song for Bilic. And you can already tell.
Can you sing it? Can you sing it?
No, but I know that I'm not singing it. But I can't remember the words now. Something about hating Birmingham.
It's convenient.
No, he hates.
Of course.
Yeah, he hates Birmingham and he loves the Baggies or something like that. But they love him there already. So I think if he brings in Diangana and says, this is my guy from West Ham, I think the fans will take to him pretty quickly as well. Next player. You can have Holland, Coventry or Ajeti, or a new striker. Or you've got Santiago Escobar.
Let's go with Coventry because I don't know what you're going to say.
Go with who, sorry?
Coventry. I don't know what the news is.
Conor Coventry is also another player we're looking to loan out. Potentially may go out on loan tomorrow. He's been linked with a few clubs: Ipswich, Bolton, and some Dutch clubs. It's believed that he might. That's Dan Kemp. And it's Dan Kemp that's rated to Holland. But Conor Coventry has been linked to Bolton and Ipswich in particular. Tell you what, I think Bolton would be a good move for Conor Coventry because they are in an absolute mess right now. They need any player they can get Bolton. He goes there, he plays because they've got no players. I think.
Of course, yeah, they can't pay the wages and all that, can they?
They've got about 7 first-team players. They played their first game at the weekend. I think they had 7 teenagers on the pitch at the end of the game. They got beat 2-0, and people were saying like they tried really hard, but that's all they can do: run themselves into the ground. So I do think Conor Coventry going to Bolton. It'll be a tough environment. He's probably going to get beat every week, but get him in the centre pitch, centre midfield every week. He'll learn a lot in there. Not just about football, but like you say about mentality. He'll have to toughen up quick because that is a high pressure environment. And I would actually say it's a no lose situation if he goes to the Bolton because it's desperate times over there. They'll take anyone almost. Like they can't be picky. They don't have players. So if Conor Coventry goes there, I'd expect him to start playing every week.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. I mean, the more you speak, the more worried I get, actually. And I think, have they got players? Have they got coaches? Have they got physios? How much of a back room team? What if he gets a knock? How are they going to look after him?
West Ham take care of all that. Look at Nathan Trott. He's injured at Wimbledon. He's back at West Ham now getting treatment. So if Conor Coventry gets injured, we take him back and look after him. He's our player at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I mean, just football as well. Have they got a captain? Well, obviously they've got a captain, but is he the captain? Yes, they've got a player with an arm, so they can put a strap around him. But is he the captain? Are they going to? Actually, maybe they haven't. Maybe they're scraping the bottom of the barrel there. But you just wonder: he's certain? My point is, he's not going into a settled team. Is it going to allow him to flourish? It's sink or swim, and that's fine because some players do sink or swim, but not every player that's been successful has been able to be thrown in the deep end. Some of them have a gradual start to their career. There's lots of different characters in life and obviously in football as well.
Harry Kane was rubbish at Norwich on loan, wasn't he?
He was, but at least Norwich was a stable club. I think he was at Leyton Orient as well. I couldn't say, to be honest, about that. But you go to these clubs and if they're stable, I just worry about that instability. It might be so desperate and so bad. And what a terrible, depressing environment to be in as well. People are losing their jobs left, right and centre. They can't pay the players. They can't pay the groundsman or whatever.
They don't need to pay Conor Coventry. We pay Conor Coventry.
No. I don't mean from a selfish point of view of his wages. I mean, being in an environment where everyone's down, everyone's sad. Maureen in the canteen. She's just lost her job again, and I just think it's what a very, very toxic and unstable environment. I'm not so sure. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's welcome to the real world sort of thing. But it might work, but it could go the other way.
I think all that stuff's already happened. I think that stuff happened last season. I think this season, I don't think there is any of the cook that could lose his job. I don't think there is a cook.
Or any food.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Bring a packed lunch. I think that's already happened. They've now got teenagers in the club. I actually think it could be like almost like a sort of an army attitude. Let's get together, let's stick together, we're going to have to fight every week, and if they win a game, I think they'll get treated like heroes by the Bolton fans. They had like 2,000 away fans at the weekend. The club in absolute state, no money, they might be going bust. The fans were singing their heart out and stuff because they know what's going to happen. They know they're probably going to get relegated to League 2, but you know what, let's just enjoy it, let's just have a good bloody time and have a party. And I think actually you go there and you put in a few man-match performances, they will treat you like a hero because they need some sort of positivity to cling on to. When you've got surrounded by negativity, one little chink of positivity, you grab it with both hands and you cling on to it and you hold it higher than ever. And I think Conor Coventry's got an opportunity. I just don't want to see him go to a club where he doesn't get enough game time. I just don't want the wrong choice to have for Conor Coventry, because a couple of weeks ago we got asked, who do you think will make a surprise breakthrough? And I said Conor Coventry. I thought there's a position here for him, I think. So yeah, he'd be a good addition to any lower league side. Nathan Holland could also be going out on loan. Also linked to Bolton Wanderers.
No, well. If you're watching this, if you just scroll back about 4 minutes and just press play again and just insert the name Nathan Holland into everything I just said.
But let's take away the football club, because there's other clubs that want him as well. Bolton's sort of the favourites to sign Holland at the minute. Loaning out Nathan Holland, regardless of what club he goes to, is a good idea?
I think so now. I do. And I think he'll flourish. I think he'll do well. It's time to cut the apron strings. I think he would have featured. I think he would have featured before Diangana. In fact, I know he would have featured before Diangana. And last season, but he was injured. Moyes wanted to play him as well, but he was injured. So we talked about the planets aligning. The planets haven't aligned for him at the times when he could have made his way into the first team at West Ham. He's been injured. It's now time to go and dip his foot into the pool somewhere else and have a look and see what other football's about. But I think he'll do well because he's got the qualities to do well, and he's fast and he plays with his head up, and I think it'd be a good addition to almost anybody, because he could play a number of styles, a number of positions. If you want him to play pass and move, tippy tap, he's gonna be able to do that. If you play a little bit of Jurassic Sam style, then you could get him to run down the wing and launch it up to the big fella with a ponytail at the back post. So he could play any number of ways, really. I think it'd be a good move.
Sean Mann, Witty in the comments says, I thought Coventry was going to Coventry and Holland was going somewhere in Holland. Witty. I like that. Usually a Gonzo joke.
Or the other way round.
But Nathan Holland, I think it's important he goes out on loan, actually, because I think he needs a break. I think he needs a bit of luck. He's had nothing but bad luck in the last 12 months at West Ham. There's a couple of opportunities for him, but he was injured. So I do think he almost needs to show what he can do somewhere else, a slightly more challenging environment. And when he comes back to West Ham, he's sort of ready to... I was disappointed he wasn't involved in pre-season, but I can understand why, because we've got so many wingers and a lot of senior wingers, so I can completely understand why Pellegrini said, you know what? And it sounded like Pellegrini sat players like Holland and Kemp, Coventry down, and said that you've got two options. One, you go out on loan, or two, you stay at West Ham, play another 23s and work your hardest to get into the first team. But you can go out on loan, and by the sounds of it, all three of them are all maybe thinking, you know what, I'm going to go out on loan a little bit. They probably wait to see how pre-season played out, seeing that they were in the under-23 squad. They were over in Belgium for a little while and that, and they probably thought, I don't fancy another year of this. I fancy... Because remember, did we get relegated? The under-23s got relegated. Yes. So now they're at a lower standard of under-23s again, so they're probably thinking, I don't want to play in this league, I want to go out there. So, good luck.
I don't want to play in this league, I want to go to Bolton.
But anyway, moving swiftly on. I do think a loan move would be good for him. There's another player getting loaned out, but we'll discuss him in a second. Another player getting linked to us, we'll discuss him in a second. But one player who is basically a West Ham player. He's passed his medical today, so I think the dotted line is going to get signed tomorrow. The announcement will be tomorrow, Gonzo. It's something we spoke about very briefly in the last 2 videos, and I say briefly because we don't really know much about him.
Well, we didn't.
And that's Basel striker Albion Ajeti. Do you know a little bit about him now?
I do. Done my homework, haven't I? Done my stuff, you know. So he's a finisher. He really is. He's a finisher. 2-footed, and can find space really well in the box. Some might say not dissimilar to Javier Hernandez, albeit quicker. Very, very sharp though. And having watched 2 or 3 videos, it took me a little while to work out which foot he kicked with, because there were not only equal amount of goals in the first videos I watched with right and left. It's all right to use your weaker foot when you don't have a choice, but actually there were 2 or 3 chipped goals where he actually lobbed the goalkeeper, which seems to be a chosen method of scoring for him. And actually he was chipping with his left foot as well as his right. So he looks really, really good. We've got to be careful though, Geo, because he's got an identical twin who's also a professional football player, and he's not as good. So I'm a bit worried they might try. So I used to, when I was at school, the Cooper twins. Can I say that? The Cooper twins. They always used to pull little tricks, you know, in class and PE, and pull sickies and move things around and pretend to be each other. And actually, I dated one of the night. Different things. I mean, it doesn't matter, but we don't want to end up with the wrong one. Do you know what I mean? End up with a crap one that's a defender or something like that. We don't want a doppelganger, is what I'm saying.
Well, I do my way of researching a player, which includes no videos, but it includes reading articles about him. And I like to try and go back about a year. Whenever we get linked to a random player, I try to go away from current, because right now, if you Google his name, all you get is West Ham websites, and they're either copying and pasting a website I'm looking for, or they're making it up a little bit. They're just, he's big and strong, right? Okay, you've been on Transfer Market or Who Scored and pick the main attributes. I mean, you must be a pretty crap YouTube channel if all you do is go on Who Scored and read out all the main attributes or something and the weaknesses and stuff. You'll get found out pretty quick if you do that. So I like to go to old articles. Now the problem is, when I was reading about this guy, the articles were in foreign languages. You've got to try and read between the lines of it, because no one was writing. So
you don't know anything. He knows nothing.
No one knows about him 2 years ago. No one was writing about him. The people were writing about him were the people over in Switzerland. But listen, 21 goals and 43 appearances last season is not to be sniffed at, regardless of your league. The big appeal for me is, 1, his age, and 2, not just his goal scoring record, but also the fact he's been playing in European football and stuff. He's been tested at a high level. He's coming over here, arguably his 3rd choice striker, unless something happens with Javier Hernandez. I do think he'll become 2nd choice striker pretty quickly, but I think Saturday, Hernandez will be on the bench, and he'll have to wait for maybe the first League Cup game to come around before he gets a real sniff at first team action, because it's usually about 3-4 games in, isn't it? The League Cup. It's towards the end of August usually, so you won't have to wait too long. But it's 8 million. The price tag, £8 million, could rise up to 11. This is an investment I like. It's punt money for a striker. Doesn't work out, you'll probably be able to sell him and get 5 million. He might go back to Switzerland. He might drop to the Championship. West Brom and Brentford were in for him. I'm pretty sure if he doesn't work out at West Ham, they'll also still like him, because he's still the same player that they like today. He just can't do it in the Premier League, fair enough, but he'll do in the Championship. So I do think it's a good move. It's good to see the club backing a manager, putting their money where their mouth is a little bit. I think Javier Hernandez is probably a bit confused as to why getting the number 9 shirt no longer doesn't actually mean that you're going to be first choice striker. A bit of a PR stunt, if you like, but it's a bit daft if he's going to fall for that one. But yeah, he'll be a West Ham player tomorrow. Do you think that'll be the last of our business?
No, I don't actually. I don't. Not for any big conspiracy or anything like that. I just think there's sneaky, suspicious things going on.
I've got. This is not a rumor. This is a geo punt. I think I would not be surprised we're linked to this player. I say in the next 24 hours. 24 hours is too late, isn't it? It'll be shut by then. In the next 20 hours, I think we'll be linked to this player. Are you ready?
Are you going to tell us? Are you just going to say this player, or are you going to tell us which player this player is?
I'll tell you who it is.
Tell us.
Callum Chambers. Plays cover centre back, right back, defensive midfield. He's been playing defensive midfield a lot in the last 2 seasons. Still at Arsenal. Young, English, homegrown. Remember, any player we sign, if no one leaves, any player we sign will probably be homegrown. So I think you can think about Hayden, Shelby, you can think about players like that. But then it comes to a question of, do we have 15 million or something? Maybe a push. But do we have 15 million for someone to sit on the bench? I don't think we do. I don't think we'll spend that for a bench player. So I think we're going to have to be a little bit wise, and I think it'll be Callum Chambers. I think that Callum Chambers might be the name we get linked with soon. Arsenal, they're buying too many players. He was surplus to requirements a year ago. I don't see why he's no longer surplus to requirements. I watched him. Who did he play? Leon. They played Leon. Did okay. I thought he did all right. I think he'd do all right for us.
There you go. What more can I say? I can't say anything to that wild guess.
Okay, right. Anyway,
Gareth Bale.
Anyway, that's just my pun. Who we got left? We've got 2 players left. We'll fly through Conor Coventry might. Dan Kemp. There's too much youngsters being linked with a move away tonight again. But Dan Kemp's been linked to Holland. No club specified as such yet, so keep your eyes on that one. And the other one that's been linked to West Brom a couple of days ago is an 18-year-old centre back, Ajeti Alisi. Now this guy is big things are expected of him. I've never seen him, but I do know there's a lot of hype, if you like, about him in the academy, and he's been sort of looked at by Barcelona and stuff over the last couple of seasons. It'd be interesting if he goes to West Brom, because that's almost Bilic saying, like, when Bilic was here, he could never play him centre back. You cannot play a 16-year-old centre back in the Premier League, no matter how good he is. That is serious risk. The Championship 18-year-old, you can get away with that, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they're going to get relegated again, aren't they, the under-23s? They'll be like Bolton Wanderers, wouldn't they? They'll have 7 players out on a pitch. No T-Lay, they probably still won't have a T-Lay, of course, but or man, anyway. So yeah, good. I think it's about time, as I think the academy is going well, and I think it's producing some decent players, and that was last year was such a good year for the young players coming through. And if there is another layer under there, which we all expect that there is, then give them some experience. They're not going to get anywhere near the team at the moment, because you look at that first team squad and it does look juicy. So I think it's wise, and it's going to be interesting watching them.
Right, the last player that we've been linked with, if you watched Hammer's Chat in January 2018, if you are old school, well, it's not really old school Hammer's Chat, if you were middle Hammer's Chat, you joined when we were growing. We were like a relegation candidates in the Championship back then. We've got promoted from League 2, got promoted from League 1, we're sort of back in the Championship. We're now sort of top of the Championship, but back then we were relegation contenders. We did a video. It was one of our first insights video. Me and Charlie always wanted to do a stats video. We were trying to work out how to do it, so we thought, you know what? Do you know that T4 football? We're just going to rip them off, just copy it, but make it West Ham. So that's what we did. So we did a video, is centre midfield the problem? And we went through the figures, compared them to other Premier League centre midfielders, and we tried to pick out 3 targets. One we're being linked with, a couple we thought we might get linked with. Then there was a bit at the end called Geo Recommends, and you might recognise the name if you watched us back then, called Santiago Escobar. Gonzo, did you A, watch the video, B, remember the name, or C, Gonzo? I'm going to assume the answer is no, no, and no.
Well, listen, you said this was early days. I hadn't subscribed to Hammer's Chat at that point. I hadn't started watching, and I'll tell you what, I do like those.
Because I seen you unsubscribe a week ago when we did our test. You unsubscribed, so you had subscribed prior to all this.
I've got to say, I do like the tactics videos. I like all the graphics and the rest of it, but the geezer that does all the talking, it's just a bit like that. So I can't, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you. No, I do remember the video. I remember the video, but I don't remember. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't know him if I walked past him in the street with a name badge on.
It's unlikely to happen. Again, I go back to the homegrown thing. People have been getting excited on social media about players like Escobar and other players, but West Ham are never going to buy someone, right, that's not homegrown and then like leave out Winston Reid or Sanchez in their squad. We're just not going to do it. We don't have that finances. We can't justify having someone on 60 grand a week sitting in a 23s. We're just not that club. So the only way we're going to do is if we move someone on. And if we were going to move on someone like Carlos Sanchez, we would have done it already. I think it's got to the point, it's too late now. No one will buy them. We don't want them. No one else does. So I don't think it's going to happen. But I'll tell you what.
So what player is he, Gio? I mean, because obviously there'll be people that haven't seen the video. Just quickly, what sort of a player is he? What did you like about him?
He's an aggressive defensive midfielder. He's more aggressive than Winston Reid. Not Winston Reid. Declan Rice. He's more aggressive than Declan Rice. He likes a crunchy tackle. But what appealed to me when I watched him for Stuttgart and Bundesliga, he looked good, but also his stats were really, really high. They were sort of like too good for his. He's 20 years old at the time. He's 22 now, but his interceptions and tackles were among the best in the Bundesliga. And stuff like that appeals to me when you're looking for a defensive midfielder. And so I thought, you know what, 20 years old, I like this guy. Back then there was big hype about him. It's quieted down a little bit. Stuttgart got relegated, hence why he's probably a lot cheaper now than he was back then. And they're also in a bit of a financial crisis. So I don't know, 10, 15 million, I think it would get him out of there. But it's probably not going to happen, which is a bit of a disappointment. But I never got my hopes up because of the homegrown thing. I just did simple maths and went, nah, I don't really have space for him.
We should send Conor Coventry on loan to Stuttgart, shouldn't we?
They could do, yeah. Why not put him in there alongside him? I'll toughen him up.
Yeah.
Toughen him up in training. Anyway, a couple of bits of news before we take the question from Twitter and our YouTube earlier. The away ballots are a bit of a mess. Have you seen the news about that?
No, sorry, mate. I've been busy today.
Jesus, those away ballots for fighting in Watford were supposed to be done a week, 2 weeks ago. Then at the end of last week, I think it was the end of last week, they said, they've not really worked. We're going to have to do them next week now. Only today, they've said, okay, that's the Brighton ones done. We're still to do the Watford ones as well. It's just an absolute shambles, to be quite honest with you. The whole loyalty points argument's coming in again because the first 2 away games sold out to really high points, so people are saying, hang on a minute, it's a bit of a closed shop here. Where's all the tickets going? You know, it's a club sort of skimming some off the top for corporate, etc. So there's a whole shambles going on with their ballot again. It's just the club haven't sorted anything. Do you know how they threatened you? Oh, we're going to be doing random ID checks. Well, they've done nothing over the summer to sort of put something in place to allow you to sell your ticket legally. So they can't do these ID checks. They've sort of shot themselves in the foot there. But anyway, enough about that. There's a new ticket.
Do you know, actually, I've got a question. Do you know, do they refresh your loyalty points at the start of a season?
Yeah. This has happened, as far as I know, for years now. You get last season's points and this season's points. So you would have lost 17, 18's points, but you should still have 18, 19's points.
But then you build them up as the season goes on.
Yeah.
So then at the end they refresh it. So you basically only ever got 1 year's points. Is that right?
And then you have 2 years, and once you hit 2 years, it goes back to 1 year and starts again.
Okay, all right, that explains it. All right, fair enough.
It's everyone. Don't worry, it's not just you. I think the most points you could have at the start of the season was 24, and that's I think if you got both Wimbledon tickets in the ballot last year. If you got both, I think you had 24. So,
I've got 7. I've got 72.
Anyway, I've got a bit of news for season ticket holders, really, because the club have been pretty crap at putting this out there. The ticket forwarding thing on the ticket exchange is no more. It's not there anymore. You cannot go on and forward it to someone. They've changed it. It's now called ticket download. You go on, you download your ticket, and you email it to your friend. And then they print it off, away they go. However, there's a problem here. They said, Gonzo, I'm waiting to tell you what the issue is. Don't go on your ticket account. They said, if it's not there, you phone us up and we'll activate it for you. Everyone I have seen has had to phone the ticket office. I don't think anyone's got the option there. So if you go on your ticket account, you're thinking, where is this download ticket thing? Just phone the ticket office and they'll flick the switch. You download the ticket, you send it. Now, it'll save the person like £1 because there's no more booking fee now. But this goes against West Ham's ticketing rules. West Ham's terms and conditions state you're not allowed to, anyone you give your ticket to has to be approved by the club. Now, using ticket exchange forwarding sort of done that because the club could see who was using your ticket. if you sent your ticket to me and I used it, the club could see, okay, Gio is using Gonzo's ticket for that game. There's literally no proof as to who's using your ticket for this, because you're not going to Man City, so you're giving it to a friend to use for free or whatever. There's no proof of who is using your ticket. It goes against the club's own terms and conditions. It's completely stupid. So anyway, someone asked the West Ham help on Twitter. Someone said, have you adjusted your terms and conditions? The response was, I will check with the ticketing office. Bloody hell. They just can't do anything straight. But anyway, that's the new procedure. So
well, I looked yesterday. It's Danny, by the way, who's getting my ticket. Well, I've to be fair, I emailed them in the end, and he's going to, go and collect them at the ticket office. But okay, I'll do that. Having said that, it may well be breaking their own rules, but I don't mind that, Geo. I've got to say, I don't mind that downloading the ticket and sending it.
I think it's a good idea too. I think it's a good idea as well.
Yeah, because so you're only going to give it to a fellow West Ham fan, aren't you? And so okay, fair enough.
Have you seen any other transfer rumours that you wish to discuss, or any other news before we head on to the questions?
Not I can think of, mate. Well, you've enlightened me already. Tickets and Conor Coventry and Dan Kemp's. I didn't know these things.
Anyway, let's jump onto the questions. We'll start with Twitter. Alan at Hammers Fans Insurance Number. He says, who do you think will win each of our annual awards next season? Right, just give me one word answers. Just give me the name. Dylan Tombides Award.
That's for the youngster in the academy, isn't it? Well, let's go for Diallo.
I'll say Deju, the other striker. Deju. Golden Boot. Our one.
Lanzini.
You what? Nah, our. Easily. Not Hammer of the Year, because we've got our season's predictions coming up on Friday night where we both give our predictions for Hammer of the Year. Young Hammer of the Year.
Got to be Declan Rice again, isn't it?
Declan Rice. Signing of the season. Aller.
Oh, okay, I'll go different. I'll go to Fornicator.
Goal of the season. How the hell are you meant to predict this? I don't know, but goal of the season.
I like it. I'll be very specific if you want. Be very, very specific. Corner, centre-back headers it out. It's just outside on a corner of the 18-yard box. Christ. And Anderson volleys it into the top corner from 18 yards. It's a spectacular goal.
I'll say Anderson as well, actually. Outside shout is one of the fullbacks. Maybe Masuaku. He can hit it, but I'll say Anderson. Game of the season.
Oh, it's easy. West Ham 4, Spurs 0. Yeah.
Away to Spurs. Best individual performance. Crisis test this year.
That's good, isn't it? I like it.
I'll say Jack Wilshere against someone.
Oh yeah, I like it. It's a Diop in our fantastic win against Tottenham. Actually, he's like a brick wall. He was.
Moment of the season.
Moment of the season. Moment of the season. Us relegating Sheffield United and all sort of dancing, doing a conga around the stadium. Be good.
I will say. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? It usually ties in with game of the season, doesn't it? I will say. Moment of the season. I will say. Oh, we don't have a Declan Rice, because last season it was Declan Rice's first goal for the club. We don't really have a player like that.
He's got some questions then. He's taken everyone else's quota of questions, as Alan. Everyone else is waiting in the chat room. Come on, can someone else have the opportunity to ask a question?
Diangana. I'll say Diangana doing something will be more of the season. I don't know. Save of the season is going to be Fabianski, because A, he's going to play all the games, and B, Roberto's not going to make a save. I might hit him. Daz, Curtin Hammer. Could Diop be an option for holding midfield role? With the other options for Balbuena's centre-back partner, could Diop give us the athleticism and tackles we need with Rice in certain games?
No, Pellegrini's already got one central defender who he's converted into a central midfielder in midfield. He likes to play a certain way. He's not going to stick two central defenders in central midfield. Dan, I don't like the idea at all, mate.
Not for me either, because I think there's some players, centre backs, that would be a good defensive midfielder. I think Diop's one of them. Do you know who I think would make a good defensive midfielder in the Premier League? Van Dijk. I think he's got everything. He's got strength. He's good on the ball. His attacking. But the thing is, he's just so damn good in centre back. You can't move him. And Diop's a bit like that for me. You would miss Diop's pace and recovery as well. I think sometimes his speed gets us out of tricky situations. Phil at Dartmoor Legend. Phil says, out of Everton, Wolves, Leicester, and West Ham, who do you think will finish highest in order?
Everton.
Yeah, me too.
Leicester.
No, West Ham for me.
West Ham.
Leicester for me.
And I think we'll beat Wolves.
Yeah, me too. Dilton says, great new concept on your recent videos. Thank you, Dilton. How do you rate out of 10 this transfer window for West Ham? He's giving it an 8 out of 10. Now let's assume we sign one more player, the striker, and that's it.
Yeah, Dilton's a naughty boy, by the way. I'll agree. Not for asking that question, for other reasons. I'm going to go. Dilton, I'm going to go with your 8, mate. Actually, I agree with that. I'm quite happy this window.
I'll say 9. I don't think we could have done much better with the money we had, to be honest with you. And I do think sometimes who doesn't leave the club can be overlooked. I think the fact that we've come out of here for now with Diop, Rice, Sanderson, and actually getting rid of Arnautovic as well is quite important to me. I would have liked to have seen us start the season with Marko Arnautovic in the squad. I wanted him gone. Some players outs is just as important as the ins. I think we've done really well. Andrew Walsh says, do you think our academy delivers enough talent for the first team?
Well, I think Andy Allen, mate, by the way, I think if you'd have asked that a season or two ago, then it would be a different answer. But I think asking that question off the back of last season, you can't really take last season out of the equation. You have to include it in your thinking. And I thought, to have 3 academy graduates, and I'm excluding Mark Noble here, of course, this one, to have 3 young academy graduates in the team, to know that you've got Nathan Trott, who looks like he's going to be a West Ham player as well, and then these other promising guys around the periphery that we've discussed that Geo was mentioning are going here, there, and everywhere. I think we're comparable to a lot of the other clubs, actually. I think we're doing quite well at the moment.
I think so as well. We've produced Declan Rice, who's worth 70 million or so. Our academy's worth 70 million in the last couple of years. We've sold, while Oxford was only 2 million and Brown's only a few hundred grand. It all adds up. You sell 3 or 4 of them every year. It sort of pays for itself, the academy. And I think that is how I determine the success of the academy. A, is it self-sufficient? Does it cover all its costs by selling players? And B, are we sort of going around sneaking and sort of grabbing talent from other people? I think that's also as important as bringing up an 11-year-old through to your first team. And I think we're doing both of those at the minute with Holland. We just signed this guy from Portugal. I don't care if he's £3 million. He's an 18-year-old centre-back, and that, to me, is an academy player. You get him in there for a couple of years, you get him ready, and you get him out again. And if he's worth over 10 million in future, it pays for the whole academy for 1 year, that the profit on that one player. So I think so. I think it is. It could be better, of course it could, but I think you're struggling to find a better Premier League club at the moment because it's difficult to bring players through into the first team. Last one from Twitter, I think, is from Angus at oh my god, he's got a long number as well. He's like Angus.
Angus.
And insurance number II. Is this philosophy of, if they score 4, we will score 5, not very risky, especially in the Premier League?
It is risky, but we've seen it before, of course. We saw it with Kevin Keegan's Newcastle, and of course the famous 5 at Tottenham under Ozzy Ardiles, if some of you will remember that. Sheringham, wasn't it? It was Darren Anderton, Klinsmann, Ildea Dimitrescu. There was another one as well. Newcastle, Ginola and Asprilla and Ferdinand and Shearer and goodness knows. Oh no, Shearer wasn't there. Sorry, but and Kevin Keegan as well. But very very good team, and I like it. I don't mind. There's actually been few and far between teams like that in the Premier League, believe it or not. For an attacking, swashbuckling league that it is, people tend to like those teams. I think people will enjoy watching West Ham. Not that it matters, but actually West Ham for a long time were everybody's second club, and I think because of the Tevez saga and numerous other things, the Olympic Stadium as well, those two things made us very unpopular and we slipped right down. But actually I think people might well be tuning into Match of the Day or whenever we're on the telly and enjoy watching West Ham. I think it would be entertaining for good and bad reasons, but I don't mind. I'd rather that than David Moyes. Can't remember that game. It was a game we had 28% possession or something and not a shot on goal. Was terrible. It's not what it's about. Not what it's about. This is what it's about, and I'm looking forward to it.
I completely agree. I always say there's a difference in mentality in managers. Some managers play to not lose. We've got a manager now that's playing to win. There's a big difference. We will lose a lot of games because of the way we play. We will lose a lot of points. We'll concede a lot of goals. But I do think there's a correlation, right? I have no proof to this. This is just my own opinion. Throw it out there. I think there's a correlation between playing this open, expansive football and knowing that you can score goals, believing you can score goals. And I think there's a correlation between that and having a mentality that when you go 1-0 down, actually it doesn't matter because we can score two. I think if you're at Brighton or at Burnley where you try not concede, you've got to go down. It's almost like what we're going to do because we can only score one. Best now we can come away from this with a draw. If you believe you can score 3 goals and you concede 1, chances are you'll go doing that anyway. You know, every game we concede 1, doesn't matter. We're going to go and score our 3 now. And I do think there's a link there. I have no proof, but that's not my job. My job is to sow the seed, and it's up for you to decide if it's worth it or not. Moving on to questions from the people that left their questions on YouTube earlier, and then we'll move to the live chat in a little bit. Don't worry, we'll get there soon. Ben FM, will Gonzo be making another... stretched Gonzo will be making another appearance. You've been alright tonight, actually. You've been, it's there. If it goes wrong again...
We had a little practice earlier.
And it went wrong.
It did. Oh, no, it was head in hands. No. And, but Geo found a solution and... yeah, I mean, it wasn't without trying. I must have spent an hour on the laptop earlier trying different things, trying different cameras, downloading different software, watching YouTube tutorials, and we got there. We want to make it work for you, for us, for everybody. We don't want to produce a crap video, but I never looked so good, have I?
I even tried putting up a picture or two earlier. Hopefully it worked. No one said anything, so if it did work,
you did it. Oh, you did it in this.
Well, if it worked, it's gone very unappreciated because no one in the live chat said, "Well done." This looks
scoundrels. He's fishing for praise, people in the chat. You better. I'm not watching the chat. I'm not going to chat up at the moment because actually I'm so paranoid. I'm paranoid that having the chat up would make me go and do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so you better give him some love. Geo's been very needy, very attention seeking. So you better appreciate his pictures.
I'm very upset about this, But anyway. They just won't get any images in the next video. There'll be no images.
They might get more image than they bargained for.
All they're gonna get is a stretched Gonzo. That's all they're gonna get, and then they're just gonna have to put up with it. But they're not gonna appreciate the images. That's that. Anyway, we've got a tough question. It's a negative question, kind of is. But do you know what? We deal with negative questions as well because that's what it's all about. Honesty. DJ Blokey B. If one of our attacking players was to get injured and out for the season, what are you laughing at?
That's a good name. I like the name, DJ Blokey B.
Which of the following would you prefer it to be? Aller, Lanzini, Anderson, Fornals, or Wiltshire?
Oh. Well, not Anderson because he's the only one that does that. He's got the pace. And I think we need his pace for counter-attacking. And not Sebastian Aller. Because we've got no strikers. Was it Fornals, Lanzini, or Wilshere? Yeah. It's going to be Fornals or Lanzini because they have similarities. I'm going to go with El Fornicador.
You'd rule out Fornals for the season out of all them?
I would injure him myself.
Do you know who I would
I'd slide tackle him as a stud, flying tackle, 2-footed.
Do I take a guess at who I would choose?
The fornicator.
No, Anderson.
Oh.
He's too.
Well, you're wrong. You're wrong.
He's too inconsistent. I think Lanzini's a better player than Anderson when they're both. From what I've seen at West Ham, I think Lanzini's capable of more. I think Aller's, you cannot. You need him. Wilshire's pivotal to us this season. So that leaves Lanzini, Anderson, Fornals, and I've not seen what Fornals can do, so I want to see it. I don't want to go a season and wait for what he could do. So yeah, tough question, negative question, but we'll answer them all on the show.
Nasty question.
Tony Wallace. Tony says, if you had a chance of one more signing at last minute, what position and player would you like? No more than 10 million from Tony in Australia.
Hello, Tony. Good day.
Fucking hell.
Good day, Tony.
Is this you buying time while you try and think of something?
No, I'm not even thinking. I'm thinking of other Australian things that I can say. Rather, I should be thinking of which player. Why only 10 million? That's rather limiting, isn't it?
Because if he didn't give you 10 million, you'd pick a 40
Okay. I'll tell you what we get. Stuttgart. You say Stuttgart are in financial trouble?
Yeah.
They got a right back called Maffeo, quick as pants. We'll have him. He's worth more than 10 million, but we'll get him for 10 million. We'll have that geezer.
You can't. There's no room in the squad for him.
He's grandmother's English.
Doesn't make a difference. It's not how it works.
It is. Listen. These are Australian rules questions, clearly. So I've given my answer. There you go. What's your answer, Gio?
Jaden Bogle.
Who? You've made that up. There's no say. You just made a player up. He's not one of your people you create on FIFA. Jaden Bogle.
Can't tell you if he's good on FIFA. I don't know. I'm going by what I've seen with my eyes.
Doesn't exist.
Right back at Derby. He's 19, I think. Right back at Derby. He did well last season. Jaden Bogle. He'll be a good player in years to come. Just watch.
The mind boggles.
Someone said he'd buy a couple of teenagers from Bolton. I like that. Bit chatty. That Conor Coventry looks good for Bolton, doesn't he?
Oh yes. I tell you what, that would be a Dave Sullivan deal, wouldn't it? Loan someone out and he looks good. The scouts go and look at him and we pay a couple of million for a player that we already own.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sullivan's trying to half own Bolton as well, isn't he? So I mean.
That's
got to be a bit dodgy.
That's why he's trying to send all the players over there.
That's probably why he's trying to buy the Bolton players.
But apparently he owns the stadium. He wants to turn it into an Asda or something, knock it down.
Would not surprise me, to be honest with you.
I don't know. That was a joke, by the way. Allegedly and all that.
I think he would sell it to a construction company, and they would sell it the following day for about £20 million profit, and they would turn it into high-rise flats.
I see what
the company would make like over £100 million profit on it. That's what I think he would do. Listen, there's no substance to my imagination here. I just plucked out thin air and just dreaming it up as
like the player, like the right back at Derby.
Oh, for God's sake! Right, anyway.
Goggle. Johnson Goggle.
Jaden, but never mind. Mammal A, how did you feel about Rondon's comments on waiting for a call for Pellegrini? Personally, he was a little annoyed we didn't go for him, but he's not too fussed now that we are getting Ajeti.
Well, I don't even think we were interested in him. We didn't make a bid because we weren't interested.
That's the point.
All right. Well, he said, I'm a bit annoyed that West Ham haven't made a bid for me, but I don't think they're interested. What's the question?
When Rondon went to China, he got asked about it, and he said he was waiting for Pellegrini to phone him, but the phone call never came, which means we were never interested in him.
Well, maybe he shouldn't read the press. Maybe he shouldn't listen to the rumours. If he'd have tuned in a cup of tea, he would have heard me say, we ain't interested, mate.
You're just not playing along to the question. I also, like Mamale, was disappointed, but I'm not so fussed anymore. I'm very much like Mamale. I was disappointed at the time, felt missed opportunity there. But now, to be fair, Aller was the one that switched me. I thought, you know what, I'm happy with Aller and Hernandez. If you offer
he got you on the turn, didn't he, Aller?
He did, yeah. But anyway, Dave Goodyear asks the situation with homegrown players. You need to rewind about half an hour for that. Flight time.
Famous Dave Goodyear, is that?
Well, this is an interesting one. Last season, Anderson scored 9 goals and 4 assists, with Aller, Fornals and hopefully Wiltshire and Yarmolenko. What are you expecting from him this season?
More assists, definitely more assists. I'd be happy with 9 goals again. Actually, I think 9 goals is a good return for a wide player. Yeah, few more assists would be lovely.
What's that? 13 goal contributions. If he can get that up to 18, I'd be delighted. I don't care how he does it. 18 goal contributions. Do you know something? I think that's why a lot of people... Do you know how a lot of people are laughing at the Iwobi thing? And I am Iwobi's biggest critic. I think he's Arsenal's Antonio, essentially. I read an article the other day, and it was quite interesting. Iwobi had one of the highest expected assists in the league last year. So basically, he was putting in really good crosses and through balls, but people just weren't finishing it. So that's something to watch when he goes to Everton. And it's like
see, what you want to do, Geo, is read an article from 2 years ago. That way you can get the best feel of what's going on.
Piss off you. Anyway, Will Harris, would you take 17th place in a cup final, but you're not guaranteed to win? He would.
Oh, that's a good question, you know?
I would.
Yeah, I would.
Any day.
I would. Yeah, because once you're in the cup final, you've got a chance. I like that question.
Yeah. Chris, will Gonzo return the favour, and tonight will we have a stretched Geo? Listen, mate, the amount of stuff I have to do before and after and during a live stream, I'm stretched as it is, just not physically on your screen. I am stretched.
If you'd have praised his picture that he put up, he might have been more accommodating.
A lot of people did praise it. Just pay, I had to prompt them, but it worked, you know. And if all those people could go and subscribe as well, here's a prompt for them, that would also be good. Gary Page, now, for those, a bit of context, because he's asked this before the news, I'll get a bit of context. Fabianski missed training yesterday, but he was back in training today, so Fabianski's okay for the Man City game. But 24 hours ago, there was a worry that Fabianski wasn't going to be played on Saturday. So Gary's Page's question was, without Fabianski in goal, would you like to see 5 at the back with Creswell as a third centre-back? I know stubborn Pellegrini won't play that, but I think he's just trying to say, what would you want us to do?
No, I wouldn't. I understand why, Gary. I do understand, mate, but I just think he's got a philosophy, Pellegrini, and I think the fact that he's got to play with his substitute goalkeeper, his reserve goalkeeper, shouldn't impact the pattern of play that his outfield have. I also think it sends a terrible message to the goalkeeper, if nobody else. Okay, we've practiced all pre-season. This is the formation we play. Oh, hold on a second. I'll what's his name's in goal? Everyone, 10 at the back and all that. I think it's he's got a philosophy, and he's stubborn with his philosophy, and he'll stick to it. I don't mind that. I don't mind him being single-minded in his approach.
Yeah, I wouldn't compromise your outfield players. Listen, if you have to go 5 at the back because of your keeper, it means your keeper's not good enough. And that means you need to upgrade your goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. Your second keeper, he's never going to be as good as Fabianski at West Ham, right? That's just not going to happen. But you should have confidence that you can put him in and he will do all right. I had confidence. When we put Adrian in, I thought he'll do fine. Like, he's not going to be as good as Fabianski, but he's okay. He's good. He's a good backup. And if Roberto doesn't have that sort of faith from the manager or the defence, we shouldn't have signed him, and we need to be looking already to do something about it, because that's the point of the backup goalkeeper, to be backup, not to alter the defence because he's not good enough. Anyway, we'll take one more question from the YouTube. We'll go to the live chat because I'm conscious of the time and stuff. Top, middle, or bottom? There's 3 questions. You're going to decide which one we get. Top, middle, or bottom?
Bottom.
If you could sign one Championship player, who would you take? He would take Dial Fry from Middlesbrough.
Oh, I'd probably go for Jason Toddle. Plays left back for Derby Rovers or something.
Jaden Bogle, right back from Derby. That's who I would take. Who would you genuinely take though? Is there any Championship players you would take?
Off the top of my head, I can't even think what clubs are in the Championship, Geo. I've got to say, no, my knowledge, I would have picked Max Aarons at it last season. I was aware of him last season. It's clear they're all right backs. lot of these people are right backs. The guy that played central midfield last season for Wigan can also play right back, but he's a Chelsea player, so he's not strictly.
Reece James.
Has he gone back? Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, that's who I'd go. I think he might have gone back. They might be sending back to Wigan, but technically he's a Chelsea player, I guess.
It would be Jaden Bogle for me. I think Jared Bowen at Hull. I think he's good. I think Gonzo. To be honest, I think Gonzo would have said Che Adams if he had already gone to Southampton. I think that's who Gonzo might have said. I think there's a player at Borough, a young player at Borough, who's. I think there's big things expected of him, and I think he could make it. Called Marcus Taverner. Now the reason I know of him is because his brother plays for Rangers up here, and I think he's 20 and he's an attacking midfielder at Borough. And Tony Pulis always talked him up a bit, but didn't play him because he's an attacking player. But Woodgate has gone in there, so I think Woodgate's going to play him a bit more. So keep your eyes out for that name this season, Marcus Taverner at Middlesbrough. By the way, you guys on the live chat, everyone in the live chat saying Jordan Hugo. Of course, how did we forget Hugo? But you guys watching live on YouTube, you can put the questions now in the live chat and I will get to them as quick as possible. But I've got one from earlier from Langer Studios. Obviously, the rumours earlier were that Zaha is handing a transfer request at Crystal Palace in order to force through a move believed to be to Everton. Hence why the Everton Iwobi thing might be the good old smoke screen while they go for Zaha, or vice versa, but time will tell. So, Langer Studios is also expecting that if Zaha does leave, they may come for Michail Antonio. And that is, if we sold Michail Antonio for 30 million and brought in a couple of youngsters and gave Lanzini a new deal, would that be good or bad business?
Well, we need to give Lanzini a new deal regardless, but we're a player down. We're a player down if we lose Antonio, and that's not good. We're not only a player down, we're an effective Premier League proven player down who can cover at striker, and who doesn't mind playing right or left. So I know a bad move. The only way you sell Antonio is if you bring in a talented winger. Alas, the winger that I mentioned on the last cup of tea, Alan Saint-Maxime, has gone to Newcastle, and that's who I'd like to see. The strange thing was, that's the guy who Palace should have got in. Palace is we'll discuss it tomorrow. We're doing a show tomorrow. We'll discuss that tomorrow. But no, I wouldn't like that at all.
I think no. I've always said I would sell Antonio. It's too close to the deadline. If there was a week left of the deadline, I'd say yes, good deal, let's go. But also, the player you have to bring in has to be homegrown, because we don't have any. I'm banging on about it, but it's important in the next between now and the window shut. And it is important because if we had a space available for a non-homegrown player, I'd say let's go for it. We've got a day to get someone in. And also the European transfer windows don't shut tomorrow. So if you go buy a player from Germany for 20 million, they've got a little bit more time to spend that 20 million pounds, and they tend to shop in their own league, etc. So I think that would be a good deal for us. But given the restrictions on the squad and the time, I would say no to this. I wouldn't do it, believe it or not. Anyway, moving to live chat, Charlie Walsh, or Charlie, beardy Charlie, not so beardy Charlie these days.
No,
says,
handsome.
Charlie says, let me scroll up to get the wording right. What's the biggest animal you reckon you could take in a fight? 1v1, no weapons, and it's in the animal's natural environment.
A sloth. I'm running rings around the geezer. I'm bobbing and weaving. Do you know what I mean? He can't lay a paw on me. Nothing. He's down. He's trying to shimmy up the tree. He's not getting away from me.
I don't know. The thing is, he asked young Tom this question last night, and Tom said giraffe, so that answer's already taken.
A giraffe is going to mess you up. I don't just mean Tom. I mean any of you.
It's not going to eat you, though, is it?
No, but it'll hoof you, and it's got even just a neck. It whack you with its neck. You'd be finished.
I don't know how you'd kill a giraffe as well with no weapons. What are you going to do? Punch it, but got to punch it quite a lot in order to kill it. I would go for a crocodile.
Oh, leave it out.
I think so.
How are you going to kill a crocodile?
Get on its back. If you hit it on its nose, it buggers off. Away it goes.
But it doesn't die.
But he never said you
I
have to
don't
kill
think he
it.
does bugger off. Have you seen that video? With a geezer? Have you seen the video with a geezer showing? But he's showing how you. It's an alligator. It's not a crocodile. But basically, he's showing how you basically tame and how you basically mesmerise. You like the old cobra, the dancing cobra. He's trying to do that, and the alligator basically bites his head and won't let go.
You punch it on the nose or whatever, in the top of its mouth, it buggers off. So I think a crocodile. I think one whack. Charlie's wording was you could take in a fight. You'd have to kill it. You just need it to go away. Maybe an elephant for that reason then, because it's not going to attack you back, is it?
Yes, elephants kill about 200 people a year, don't they?
Get on his back, hold on to his legs. You're winning. A whale. Then you've got to go underwater, don't you? I don't know. I'll stick with.
Well, unless you stick something in its blowhole.
For God's sake.
Any technique, it's no holds barred. This fighting, it's knuckle bare knuckle. It's like cage fight. You can do what you want to the whale.
Have you seen the thumbnail for this video? You can see my blowhole.
Yeah, you can. Yes, indeed.
Anyway,
Jim White.
GB, question for Geo Gonzo. On transfer deadline day, which player would you sell, and which position would you like to get a player in for?
Sell a player.
Yeah, Carlos Sanchez, defensive midfield.
Yeah, not a bad one. I'll go with that. I was going to say Ogbonna, but actually that sounds better.
Roberto, goalkeeper.
Yeah, actually that sounds better as well. You keep talking. You keep talking.
How low a position in the league should Pellegrini get the sack? That's a question from Growing 3D Perspective.
Relegation, I think, would certainly mean the absolutely. You can't spend all that money and get relegated.
I think if we did crap in the cups, I think he would have a hard time justifying 16th or 15th as well, because at the end of the day, David Sullivan and David Gold are going to go to him as employers, not West Ham fans. They're going to go to him employers and say, hang about, mate, you spent 140 million in the last 2 seasons and we're finishing 16th in the league. David Moyes and Simon Bilic did better than that with no money. So how, Pellegrini's got to justify the outlay, and that is either through the league position or through the cup competitions. It's one of the two, or hopefully both. So I think he would have a hard time justifying a low league position. Neville Bartos, this is for you.
He's never been in a chat before, has he? He's a regular on our forum. He's a smart man.
Yeah, but the question's for you. Neville says.
Well, naturally, one smart man to another. Give it to me.
Well, the question's not very smart. Will there ever be another good Star Wars movie?
Well, you say you may not. Can you see Chewie? Can you see Chewie?
I'm still waiting for the first one.
Oh, that's quick to hurry it up. The writers, because HBO have bought the rights to do a series, to do like a box set sort of thing of Star Wars. I'm not so sure. This thing is that could well be sacrilege. Disney have got the rights, of course, to my sister works for Disney. Perhaps I shouldn't say too much about negatively about that. It's going to be hard because we look back at it with nostalgia. The first 3 films, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of Jedi, got a whole lot of nostalgia with them. Having said that, I quite liked the one which was the prequel to the New Hope, where they had to get the plans. I'm going to bore everyone that's not interested in Star Wars here. I probably bored them 60 seconds ago.
I don't know what you're talking about at the end there. Forever Bloom Bubble says, oh wait, hang on, no, someone said, I've lost it. Someone said, would you have liked to? Michael Hallisey said, would you have been happy if we signed Tom Heaton? He's gone to Aston Villa, just so you know. Yeah,
that's a good shout, Michael, mate. That is a good shout. Certainly better than old Rodrigo, or whatever his name is, in our goal.
He wouldn't have come to us. The only reason he's gone to Villa is for first team football. And do you know something? I think he'll keep Villa up. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think Tom Heaton will keep Villa up. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think he's very underrated. But they've got Nick Pope as well. I can understand why Burnley have let him go. Good signing for Villa. It's just one of those deals.
They still got Joe Hart?
No, he was only on loan, unless they did sign him permanently. Where is Joe Hart? Maybe he's got no club. Unless he did sign for Burnley on a free contract or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll take one or two final questions. Dave Goodyear says, will we score more than we concede this season? Basically, will we have a positive goal difference?
We better hope so. I think we'll score 60-odd goals or something. I said 60-plus goals. If we concede 60-plus goals, we're in trouble. But you can see it happening. Yeah, wouldn't it be funny to score 65 goals and finish on a minus goal? Oh, my goodness. Don't bear thinking about, Dave.
Anyway, is there anything else you would like to discuss, Gonzo?
I don't know. I thought you were going to take 2 more questions.
Yeah, well, no one's put one in yet, but they're all 30 seconds behind, aren't they?
Oh, they're slow.
They're
slow. They used to be fast, our listeners. They're getting slow in their old age.
We just had it confirmed by Charlie that Joe Hart signed permanently for Burnley last summer for $5 million. Here's one for Harry Pierce, actually. Harry must have been a Twitter person. Apologies if you were, Harry, because he replied to Twitter for a question for our season predictions, and it never made the cut because I've changed the format this year for our season.
Have you? What have you done?
Well, you have to find out on Friday on the season predictions. I've changed the format a little bit.
I've done my season predictions.
Yeah, but I've changed the format. Okay, it's different.
All right. I don't need to shit up.
You've done your bit.
I've
done half my bit. I've done the planning, but I'm not recording my answers. And Charlie's doing a bit, so the format's slightly different. But his question was, which partnership are you most looking forward to seeing? I thought it was a good question.
Golden Sullivan. I don't know. I would be really interested. Having looked at the fella, what's the new geezer's name? Ajeti.
Yeah.
Having watched his clips, I know he won't play 4-4-2 very much. That would be interesting. Sebastian Haller and Ajeti, they look like they could complement each other. However, that being said, I am looking forward to how close Fornals is going to get to Haller. I think he's going to pop up in the box. I think he's going to score a few. That could be very interesting this season. Could find a nice combination. If that's right, I'm going to stay fit. Him and what's it on the left? I was going to say Anderson on the left, but he might not play on the left. He might play on the right. We'll just go with Fornals and Haller.
I'll say Wiltshire and Lanzini. I think them two. You know what's good? But when you're answering this question, there's about 10 different combinations you can pick. You've got Haller in any 3 attacking midfielders. You've got Wiltshire in any 3 attacking midfielders. You've got Wiltshire and Rice. You've got the centre backs. Lanzini and Wiltshire for me, because they're just 2-touch football players. Touch pass. They both do it so well. They work quick 1-2s. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Ben Fryer. Interesting question. Let's put you on the spot. How many subscribers will Hammers Chat get up to by the end of the season? We're on 10,192 as we speak right now.
This is like the sweets in a jar, isn't it? It's like the sweets in a jar.
Not really.
I will go. Well, it is.
Not really, because that answer doesn't change. There's nothing. That answer's fixed. If we upload no more videos, chances are we're going to have less subscribers.
Well, you carry on with your attitude. We'll upload no more videos. I tell you. What's the last date of the season?
I don't know, middle of May, 20th of May or something.
20th of May. There's your date. All right, that's it. 20th of May, regardless if it's the end of the season. By the 20th of May, I will go 14,137.
I'll say 12,192.
Pessimist.
Realistic.
You like people with a negative question about who should get injured.
I'm just being realistic, okay? We've had 2 unsubscribers since that question. Why do people do this? It's cruel. Everyone's unsubscribing again. We're not answering any more questions on subscribers ever
again.
It's
probably me talking about Star Wars.
To be honest with you, I unsubscribed when you started speaking about Star Wars. But anyway, if you're listening, subscribe. We could do with the help. We had a meeting with Aspers on Saturday. I don't mind telling people this. We had a meeting with Aspers. It went quite well. It's not quite over the line yet, so help get numbers up. Someone said, which ex-player are we having on next? You know something, right? I would love to talk to more ex-players. It's just not easy. It's not easy to message them in the first place and get them to come on. I'm trying my best. There's someone I spoke to last night. I spoke to someone very briefly last night. I gave him the proposition. Said, here, you. I want to do an interview with you. And I'll tell you what, if we can get that person Be a bloody good video, I think.
And I spoke to somebody this morning as well, but it's not an ex-player, but it is an ex-something. And I'm hopeful. We try, which I've got to be in my bonnet about this anyway. The Geo did such a good job.
I know.
With a Matt Jarve.
I'm joking. The thing is, I get really anxious about these ones. I get really anxious because, you know something, we can whack up a preview, a cup of tea and a review. I just think, bugger it, that's my opinion, okay? It's my opinion. I'm right because it's my opinion. You're right because it's your opinion. Agree, disagree, doesn't matter. It's our opinion. But when you do an interview like that, it's not your opinion anymore. It's about extracting information. It's about extracting their opinion, their thoughts, their feelings. And it's a completely different thing to do. And like when we do a preview or a review, I don't get nervous. I mean, when we first started, I did. I used to say, almost shot of whiskey, get ready. I don't anymore. But when I do like these interviews, I get nervous before interviewing the player, and afterwards I get really panicky and anxious. You know, for the Gary Lewin one, I don't mind saying this actually. The Gary Lewin one, Gonzo will tell you. I phoned him up, I said, Gonzo, I forgot to ask him a couple of things. And you said, don't worry about it. I said, no, there's a couple of things I should have asked him and I've messed it up. But it went down quite well. But I never asked him about the march. I really wish I asked him about the march because he was at the football club at the time when all this protest stuff was kicking on. People were on the pitch. He was in the dugout when people were on the pitch. And I forgot about it, and afterwards all I could think about was how I messed it up, and I don't know, it's just different. I just find it very pressurised, I guess, but I'm trying my best to get more ex-players on because I do enjoy it afterwards, and I enjoyed when I spoke to Matt Jarvis. I absolutely love speaking to him. He's a genuinely really nice guy, off camera. I remember we did the interview and stuff, and I'm sure most ex-players are, so I just want to do my best to do more, but I'll keep contacting them and keep hassling them, say, I want to do an interview. It's just not that easy, is it? But anyway, there's a couple of other questions, but I'm just missing one. Do you want one more? Well, I'll give you one more. Daniel Carroll. Who will wear the captain's armband most this season?
Let's take out substitute armbands. Otherwise, that could. So, who's start with the armband? Otherwise, it's just gonna. The stats will be slightly off because Noble comes on a sub. He'll get given the armband. So, I think that's really what the question's about, isn't it? We don't know who's gonna get it, do we? Cresswell had it a couple of times, which was a strange one. But is Cresswell gonna start? It's a really good question. I am going to say, and it's a pure guess, I'm going to say Diop or Balbuena, whichever one of those two is the centre back.
I think after Cresswell, I think Pellegrini's itching. I feel like this. I feel Pellegrini's itching to give it to Jack Wilshere. The guy can't stop. Very rarely, quite rarely does Pellegrini praise someone so publicly. He likes to keep everyone calm, feet on the ground. When it comes to Wilshere, he's just spilling plaudits out about him. He's just constantly praising him. I just think he sees Wilshere as such a key player and a key person. The guy's been working his nuts off all summer to get fit. I think Pellegrini's probably thinking, that's the kind of example I want at this football club. That guy there. Yarmolenko's come back and he's not up to scratch yet. He's not up to full fitness. Wilshere is, and I'm pretty convinced it's because of sort of pre-season to an extent. Wilshere didn't have a holiday. Well, he would have had a little break, but he came back early and got ready for it. So I think Jack Wilshere's going to wear a lot. Questions all about his fitness. I think we'll see quite a lot of captains, armbands, wearers at the club. Zabaleta will get his fair share as well. If he's on the football pitch, Pellegrini will rely on him a lot as well. So I don't know. I think it'll be Mark Noble. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes this season, but I do think a lot of people will get a shot of the armband. I almost think it's almost like an addition for like this time next year where Mark will be like 33 years old and really then be a squad player. It would be almost like getting ready to give someone else a captain's armband permanently. And of course Declan Rice will have his shout, but I don't think Pellegrini will give it to him just yet. Anyway, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yes, just obviously Well, we're back to. In fact, thank you for everybody for joining in. That, you probably tuned in, Geo, to be fair, to find out who we're signing, but actually inadvertently they learnt that there's probably going to be no more Star Wars films and how to defeat a crocodile and a whale. But if you'd like more of the same, we are going to be back tomorrow on the forum channel discussing fantasy football, other Premier League signings, and having an informal. It's not going to be formal; it's going to be informal chat. We'll open the chat as well, and we'll have a good old chinwag tomorrow. So join us there for that. Sorry on that, Geo.
Well,
I think that's it. I'm going for some crunchy nut cornflakes.
Hang on a minute. Tomorrow night, 8:30 on this channel, is our Manchester City preview.
Hold on, what about we doing this thingy? I thought you said we were doing a thingy tomorrow.
Yeah, we're doing that earlier on.
Oh, well, all right, well, there you go.
We're doing
Thank
two
you.
videos. It's big content.
There you go,
We're committed.
Two videos. There you go. Yeah. But I know we were doing the preview, but the preview's structured. We're going a bit freestyle with the Premier League one.
Yeah, and also if you think doing this stream with 2 people's dodgy, just wait, because tomorrow night we've got 3 people. We've got an extra person in. We're both trending already. Gonzo's already shuddering. But you can join in tomorrow at 8:30. If someone's asking what time we're going live on the forum channel tomorrow, we don't know yet. We've both got work, so you're going to have to wait. It's going to be a case of when we both get home, when we're both free, we'll jump on and we'll do something. We don't know how long it'll last or anything, but we'll do something. You're just going to have to bear with us because we've got commitments.
It won't be before 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this cup of tea with Geo and Gonzo. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, because it does help the channel out. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Again, that also helps the channel out. And if you want to be kind, if you're on social media, if you're on Twitter or Facebook, if you could, just copy the URL right now and post it on your social media saying that you've enjoyed this video. Go watch it, because the only way we're going to grow is by relying on you guys. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow night.